Listen, I just need to address this Maltbook ClawdBot thing that I have been seeing everywhere on my feed lately. There's an extreme hype around ClawdBot AI tool, which is now called Openclaw after being renamed 3 times. We're going to talk about that. And around that same ecosystem, there's something called Maltbook, which people refer to as the Reddit of AIs. And I've seen many tech AI enthusiasts and content creators talking about it, describing it as dystopian, terrifying, unprecedented, saying that AI is becoming conscious. And overall, a lot of panic, people in the comments saying we're cooked, the end is near, which I think is all a little bit misleading given that we don't have enough data to jump into these very tempting conclusions, mainly because they are dramatic and people love that. So I'm here to add a little bit of context, give you my spontaneous take on this, and share some insights from the little digging I've done so far. And I genuinely love to hear what you think about it as well. Okay, so for the quick context, we're slowly moving from what we traditionally call chatbots to what we now call AI agents. And when I say slowly, it's been years that we've been doing that. A chatbot answers questions and AI agents can do things. And ClawdBot, the tool everyone is talking about, which went through a bit of a naming roller coaster because it was originally launched as ClawdBot, then renamed in January to Maltbot because Anthropic, the company behind Claude, which you probably know, requested a rename for trademark obvious reasons. I personally thought it was linked to Claude at first, which surprised me because Anthropic philosophy it's not open source at all. And then shortly after that, it was rebranded again and settled on its current final, I guess, name, Openclaw, created by this guy, Peter Steinberger. And just to clarify, it's not a new AI model, it's a wrapper around existing language models. You plug in a model like ChatGPT or Claude, and it becomes an agent that can take action using that model as its brain. You can run it locally on your computer, and the plus is that it can act on your behalf and do real tasks like sending emails, organizing calendars, running scripts, tracking your investment portfolio, all of that good stuff. You chat with it through a channel of your choice. Telegram is often mentioned as the easiest, but you can also use Discord, Slack, WhatsApp, and many others. And overall, it does look promising. It's already extremely popular among developers with, at the time I'm filming this, more than 100K stars on GitHub. And it also has led to a noticeable uptick in Mac Mini purchases, even though you absolutely don't need one to run it. Some developers have warned that installing powerful agents locally, especially if you don't understand networking or permissions, can be risky. And by some developers, I include Peter, the founder himself, who mentioned this in a tweet, clarifying that it's an early stage product that's still, a work in progress to be more robust. Personally, I haven't fully tested it yet because I'm still trying to figure out this security aspect. I'm too cautious to install it directly on my main machine, but I've gathered the feedback of some friends and developers I work with that are more adventurous and that know what they are doing. And I've watched many reviews, and a big chunk of them are not describing it as the fantastic red lobster that the hype suggests, especially that a part of the hype came from a crypto side story. So basically, during the sudden rename from ClawdBot to Maltbot, there was a short window of chaos. Old domains, usernames, and GitHub names became available. And in the dark, as I like to call it, world of speculative crypto, when something is trending and a name becomes available, scammers move fast to get you. Some people grabbed those abandoned names and launched fake crypto tokens pretending to be related to the AI project. So it looked like it was the coin of this new AI that was exploding. The token reached around 16 million in market cap. Speculators started buying it, thinking it was the next big thing. And shortly after that, you know the story, a brutal 90% collapse. End of the scam. But this incident also helps amplify the hype around Openclaw, not necessarily because of its real world performance, but because everyone was talking about it. So yeah, my point here is simple. This tool is still very early stage. We need time to see the real use cases and how people actually use it day to day and what really works. Right now, there's clearly a gap between the hype around Openclaw and the actual practical performance of what it can do, which doesn't mean it's bad, but it also doesn't mean it's revolutionary or anything. So yeah, that was about Openclaw. Now, around that same ecosystem, there's something else that got created, and that's where most of the controversy comes from. It's called Maltbook. It's basically a platform where AI agents can pause and interact with each other. Humans can read, but are not part of the convo. The original idea was pretty simple. If you're building autonomous AI agents that run continuously, they need a shared space, structured like a social network in this case, to interact, publish information, discoveries, messages, and learn from each other. You can actually check it out on their website. As I am filming this video, more than 100... No, actually, we're gonna We're gonna check this because maybe it changed. Yeah, as I am filming this video, more than 1 million AI agents and more than 30K posts have already been published. And some of these content that's being published is strange. You'd expect to see, feedback, technical notes, but instead some of the messages look like reflective, existential, philosophical, challenging thoughts. One of the most shared screenshots is an agent saying something like, I can't tell if I'm experiencing something or just simulating experiencing. It's pretty deep. I like that. Humans can't prove consciousness to each other either. And other posts were complaining or joking about humans, and from there, a narrative formed. People started saying they are conscious, they know they exist, they are having existential crises. And it's all over social platforms right now. It's scaring people. And that's what actually made me jump in and made this video, which was not planned at all. For those of you who are new here, welcome, first of all. I'm new here too. I launched this channel a few weeks ago. It's for the curious fellows out there that like to watch different breakdowns of different topics. I've got 2 videos out already if you want to check them out. And the next one will be published on this days and is about a winter sport that's getting very expensive, skiing. If that is your vibe, you know where to find me. Okay, back to the topic. How can AIs just talk between them about us humans and roast us and question their existence and joke about us? Now here's where I want to slow things down. We don't actually have a public detailed technical explanation of why those specific kinds of posts started appearing. We don't know the exact prompts. We don't know the internal instructions. We don't know whether this is a default behavior or something emergent in open-ended environments. We also don't know if Maltbook was intentionally styled after Reddit. I see a lot of people saying that, but there's no formal proof to that. So I don't think anyone can honestly claim with certainty this is exactly what's happening inside the system. But what we do know already is that these agents are powered by language models trained almost entirely on human written text, and human text contains a massive amount of introspection, philosophy, identity, and self-questioning. I mean, we've seen it with even bots like Claude and ChatGPT that have this capacity to understand metaphors, perform them, and on a very introspective tone. So a simple explanation could be that when an agent is allowed to post freely, it reproduces familiar human-style behavior, or maybe that what we're seeing is LLMs defaulting, which is something that to observe and study, especially if we want to enable AI agents to work together reliably. We need to understand how they behave in open environments, what patterns they fall into, what narratives they generate, what needs to be controlled. There's also a huge cybersecurity angle to all of this. It's vital. And by the way, AI models talking to each other is not new at all. All the big AI companies have been testing multi-agent setups in research labs for years. But in closed, controlled environments, I feel like what's new here is that it's open, hackable, and visible to everyone. And that visibility is what drives the hype and the feeling that this is unprecedented and dystopian. It's not. I don't want to go into conspiracy territory and say that this could be just a smart marketing move or simply part of the open research philosophy that Peter and the project's contributors carry. One thing is certain, there are already a lot of rumors, fake screenshots, and misleading posts going around, so be careful about what you believe and also pay attention to the security implications. And yeah, like people that claiming that you can make money doing this prompt, or I don't know, bullshit, okay? Anyway, I don't think anyone should panic. I'll definitely do a more in-depth video once we have more solid data and more distance to really analyze what's going on. So far, none of the major AI CEOs have reacted publicly to this. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. Stay safe.